Hi, my name's Chris, and we're going to talk about Slashlorette Party. I've been looking forward to seeing this movie for a while now. It has been on my shelf for a bit, and thankfully I was able to pick it up after the Indiegogo was over, and it was still signed, which I thought was pretty neat. Ever since I saw the trailer on Facebook, the editing with that lighting and the music, it just drew me in immediately. And when I was considering doing this series, this was the film that I wanted to talk about first. We're going to talk about the movie, the story, the lighting, the kills, everything that just caught my attention. I'm going to pretty much talk about. So let's get to it. All right, we're back. I've finished Slashlorette Party, and I have to say I liked it. Overall, I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5. So this movie probably has everything you're looking for in a horror film. It has boobs, it has blood, it has gore, it has practical effects. I loved that this film was practical effects and not CGI. I personally believe that whenever possible, it should be practical effects. I understand CGI is needed for some scenes, but practical effects always looks better to me on film. One of the things I particularly liked was all the WWE wrestler names kind of slid in there. I don't know if everyone will catch that or not. So we got Dean, we got Lacey, we have Naya, Brie, Dolph, Alexa, Trinity, Mandy. It goes on and on. Next thing I want to touch is the music. The music quality is throughout the entire film really good. The Grind Theory and Vestron Vulture were great, especially with that theme that you hear in the trailer. I'm curious to see what Vestron Vulture does for Deadly Dealings. I know that they're working together at this time. Deadly Dealings being another independent film. Throughout the course of the film, there's characters I really liked and there's some characters I really hated, and then there were some characters I just kind of felt nothing towards. I really liked Naya, and I really liked Finn. Them and Brie were like my standout characters of this film. In relation to Brie, I believe her name is Molly Souza. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that. I think Molly did a great job as Brie in this film. I'm really looking forward to seeing her in other films. I know she has, I think, a couple more films coming out in the near future. Late Checkout and The House That Eats Flesh, both Josh Grave films. So after the dream sequence, Brie's talking to her psychiatrist. They talk about her feelings, how she's no longer interested in her fiance, Dolph. And it kind of sets the tone there. She figures out through working some exercises that her psychiatrist suggested that she no longer wants to be with her fiance and was planning to end things that evening. However, she doesn't get the chance to. Her friends show up and say they're going to have a co-ed bachelor party, which sounds fun, but also horrible timing. Shortly after we find out that there's going to be the co-ed bachelorette party, or bachelor party, or however you want to word it, we get introduced to everyone in the main cast, particularly Dolph. And boy howdy, Dolph is a dick. He doesn't miss any opportunity to be a mean-spirited person. One of the things that really stuck with me between Dolph and Brie later on in the film, there's this scene where Dolph is basically belittling Brie, and he talks about what's going on in her chipmunk-sized brain. And that just, that irked me. I really didn't like Dolph I didn't like Dolph before then, but then once I heard that line, I was like, I hope you die. Before we get to the cabin, we do have this scene where Alexis and Naya are working with Brie. They're talking to her in the bathroom, trying to figure out what she's going to do. This is where we see really the two objectives of these people. Alexis is the maid of honor. She wants to make sure this party goes off well. Where Naya's main focus is Brie. She wants to make sure her friend is okay. Once everyone gets together, we've decided we're going to the cabin in the woods. Brie's not going to bail out. She thinks that Dolph would be upset and Dolph would never let her stay home and let everyone go party. Once we get to the cabin, everyone starts hitting those horror tropes, and I'm expecting the kills, and I'm ready for the kills, but it doesn't happen just yet. We have our two killers show up. Well, they're not killers at this time. They are the repairmen for the Wi-Fi, but you know right from the start that they're the killers. They came off creepy. You expect it, and who else is really going to come out in the weekend? Throughout the film, we find out the name of these killers. Dean and Steph are their names, and they do a good job. I really liked it. I think they pulled off their roles well. They were creepy, they murdered, it was fun. We've seen one of these men before, Drew Maverick, actor Drew Maverick. His character's name is Dean. He did a really good job. I think that they kind of expected us to know that he was the killer as well as the other fellow, Seth. The mask that they're wearing, it doesn't conceal Drew's really long beard. Drew Maverick's delivery of this basically almost a dating profile scene, I adored. I thought it was great. My favorite kill of the film is actually Mandy. Mandy gets a machete right through the stomach, and it just blood all over the place. I thought that was going to set the tone. However, I think there's a few other bloody kills, but that one's just the one that stuck out to me the most. As the party begins to split, this is when our killers come into the building. They start murdering people. It is a slasher, of course. So one of the things that kind of left field for me was that the doctor was related to our killers. They were her sons. I'll admit, I was kind of surprised that they were her sons. I just didn't see that coming. I thought maybe she might have hired those people to be the killers to save Brie. So we have this big reveal, and I'm just not feeling it with Dr. Jordan's big reasoning why everyone has to be dying, why her sons need to be doing this. A lot of the drama these killers have is based on their relationship with their mother, which kind of reminded me of Friday the 13th. With this film, you see that mother-son relationship where the mother's alive and she's giving her impression, her thoughts, her opinions to her sons in real time, in real live action. In Friday the 13th, Pam and Jason aren't really alive at the same time to influence each other. Pam is hearing the voices of Jason, and Jason is hearing and seeing the voices of his mother. So it's a different dynamic, but I thought it was an interesting spin that we see in Slashlorette Party. As we're ending the film, as we're getting closer to the ending, I like the change that we see. Brie becomes forceful, she's the decision maker, she's changing things up, and she resolves the conflicts at the cabin with the killers. It's all Brie at this point, compared to where we saw at the beginning of the film where very reserved, shy, people always constantly trying to take care of Brie or protect Brie or manipulate her. Brie is running the show now, and I dig it. Now, the last 2 or 3 minutes of this movie didn't really resonate with me. I think I would have preferred the ending being right at the cabin, or maybe an ambulance arriving and certain people surviving and we pan out kind of like a Scream style. But the ending is different. It is not what I expected. And maybe some people would like that, but it just didn't click with me. So, my final thoughts. It's a good movie. I like it. I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5 if I was going to rate it. I will watch this again at some point. I'll probably maybe look at having a movie night with friends. I could think of 1 or 2 people in my social circle that would enjoy this, particularly the music with the lighting and the acting. I was really impressed with some of the acting in this movie, especially since it's the first film for a lot of these actors, or their second or third. I'm also going to say please support independent film whenever possible. This movie is on Amazon Prime, so you can watch this right now. So if this film caught your attention because I talked about it or someone else has, go watch it. It's there. It's available to you. I'm going to put in the description notes the links to A&P Productions so you can find their Instagram and their Facebook and things like that. So if you want to buy a copy of this film, you're available to do it if they have copies. I don't know if any of theirs will still be signed like this one is, but I appreciate it.